On our 5th wedding anniversary, I went through 3 long nights just to get half a month of annual leave. I was excited to go on a road trip with Zhou Yan in western Sichuan. When I opened the door, I found that my off-road car was gone, and all of my luggage that belonged to me was also missing. I was still in a daze when Zhou Yan sent me a message via WeChat. Wei Wei is breaking up with her boyfriend and even wants to commit suicide. This time, I'll take her out to get some fresh air. Honey, you've always been independent and strong. You can take care of yourself alone. But she's different. If I leave her behind now, she really won't be able to survive. Don't call me for the next half month. She will be stressed by your calls. Don't make a scene over this. I calmly looked at my phone and replied, okay, wish you both a good trip. I can skip the road trip, but I certainly don't want to give up on being a man anymore. I took screenshots of those WeChat chat records and saved them. I quickly opened the ticket booking app on my phone. I quickly cancelled those 2 first-class tickets to Western Sichuan. I also cancelled the high-end ski resort hotel reservation I had made. Since the cancellation was done on the spot, the platform charged me a hefty fee. Looking at the remaining balance, I didn't feel anything at all. I then donated all that money to the city's largest animal shelter. It's better to use that money to feed a few poor stray dogs than to spend it on those dogs and their owners. Just after doing all this, I suddenly felt like my stomach was boiling with pain. I didn't even have time to put on my slippers. I rushed into the bathroom, vomiting uncontrollably. I vomited up the warm water I had drunk earlier, and my stomach hurt terribly. I washed my face with cold water and tried to calm myself down. I opened the drawer at the bottom of the sink, and found the pregnancy test stick that I had been keeping for a long time. 5 minutes later, the 2 bright red lines on the test stick stared back at me, causing a sharp pain in my eyes. I was pregnant. It had been 5 years already. We had been married for 5 years. Back then, to help him build his company, I almost sacrificed my life. Years of working day and night, along with excessive social engagements, caused serious problems with my stomach. My body was completely exhausted. The doctor told me clearly that my physical condition was too poor, making it extremely difficult for me to conceive. Looking at my pale face in the mirror, I suddenly found everything extremely ridiculous. We both came from remote areas and were just ordinary people who moved to the small town in the capital. We had no connections or resources. We had to rely solely on our passion and hard work to make a living. In the early years of our business, we were so poor that we couldn't even afford a proper house. We had to live in those leaky rental rooms. It was raining heavily outside. Inside, we used plastic basins of various sizes to collect water. At that time, we were so poor that we could only share a bowl of instant noodles. Zhou Yan would always give me the only sausage in his bowl. He would hold my hand and say, "Shentang, when I earn enough money, I'll give you my life." Later, when the company grew bigger, we became richer, but he didn't give me his life. Instead, he gave his heart to the new intern, Lin Weiwei. Lin Weiwei always caused problems, mistakes in printing documents, missing words in contracts, coffee spilled on clients. Zhou Yan not only didn't get angry, he even taught her personally, step by step. When he got home at night, he would talk about her with a smile. "This girl messed up the paper shredder again today. She's really clumsy. She looks like you when you were young." I didn't say anything. I just felt like there was a grain of sand in my heart. Now, that sand has been turned into sharp blades. This child really came at the wrong time, especially on the day when Zhou Yan ran away with another woman. I grabbed a tissue, wrapped the pregnancy test stick in it, and threw it into the trash can. I put on a windproof coat. Then, I drove alone to the city center hospital to make an appointment. The obstetrics and gynecology department was completely crowded. All around me were pregnant women who were accompanied by their husbands for their checkups. I sat on a plastic chair, holding the appointment form in my hand. Suddenly, a notification appeared on my phone, asking me to check it out. I opened WeChat. It was a post from Zhou Yan. The photo was taken on the national highway. The off-road vehicle was parked by the roadside. Lin Weiwei was wearing that waterproof jacket that I had ironed last night. She was leaning against Zhou Yan, smiling brightly. Zhou Yan looked at her with a low head, his eyes shining with a light I hadn't seen in years. The caption read, "Let me become your salvation." It took less than 5 minutes. The comments below immediately exploded. Zhou Yan's friends and companions all liked his post. Finally, Brother Yan has a holiday. What a beautiful couple. Where's your sister-in-law? Someone posted a comment to stir up the excitement. That girl looks unfamiliar. Hasn't Brother Yen changed partners? Zhou Yen replied immediately. Get lost. If your sister-in-law sees this comment and gets the wrong idea, I won't spare you. What a ridiculous thing to do. To openly drive my car with a mistress in it, and yet to pretend to be a loyal lover in front of friends. I stared at this post in the social circle without showing any expression. I clicked on Zhou Yan's profile picture, and immediately set his profile to for chatting only. It seems that even just glancing at such people feels unpleasant. The attendant called my name. I walked into the consulting room. The doctor was holding my ultrasound results in his hands, with a frown on his face. The situation is very serious. The fetal heartbeat is weak, and the position of the gestational sac is quite low. You have severe signs of threatened miscarriage. Have you had a miscarriage before, or are you overworking yourself? I nodded. I often stay up late. The doctor sighed and handed me a thick stack of documents. Let's take some medications to try and prevent a miscarriage. Be sure to avoid any external impacts. And your emotions should not fluctuate too much. Otherwise, even gods cannot help. I walked out of the outpatient building with a large bag of medications. It was completely dark outside. The heavy rain started falling suddenly. I stood under the eaves, with more than a dozen people waiting in line for taxis. The taxi app showed that there were over 90 people waiting in line. The wind was so cold that it made me shiver. Suddenly, my phone rang at that moment. The caller ID showed that it was Zhou Yan. I answered the call without even saying hello. Zhou Yan started scolding me immediately. Shen Tang, do you have a problem? Why did you stop using my secondary card? The wind outside the phone was very loud. Zhou Yan's voice was filled with anger. We can't get any money from the gas station. Do you know that we almost got reported as being trying to extort money from customers? I took the phone away from me for a while. That card was linked to my housing fund and company expenses. It's my card. Why can't I stop using it? Zhou Yan was furious. Stop being unreasonable with me. Call the bank right now to restore my credit limit. Wei Wei got altitude sickness as soon as we arrived at the plateau. She's having severe dizziness right now. I want to use my card to buy her an oxygen concentrator and emergency medicines. The sheer absurdity of the situation overwhelmed me. I was freezing in the rain, with my limbs numb from the cold, with a child who might miscarry at any moment in my arms. My husband called me, questioning me. He demanded that I spend money to save him and the mistress he had taken home with him. I spoke in a cold voice. Zhou Yan, you're using our joint money to support another woman, even take her on trips. Do you think that's legal? There was no sound on the other end of the line for a moment. Then, a deliberately suppressed sob came from the phone. Lin Weiwei's weak, exhausted voice came through. President Zhou, please don't fight with Sister Shen because of me. I won't buy the oxygen concentrator anymore. I'd rather die on the plateau than make Sister Shen angry with you. It's all my fault. I shouldn't burden you like this. After saying that, she deliberately coughed loudly. When Zhou Yan heard this, his emotions completely lost control. Shen Tang, did you hear that? Wei Wei is willing to give up her life just to speak for you. Why have you become so heartless? It's just a few 100,000, you even care about a life. Have you really earned enough money to deserve such cruelty? I took a deep breath, trying to suppress the nausea in my stomach. Yes, I truly am heartless. If she wants to die, let her go. Don't waste my money. Zhou Yan roared in anger. Shen Tang, you've grown quite impressive, haven't you? I'll give you 10 minutes to unlock your card immediately. Otherwise, when I return to Beijing, I'll make sure you suffer. I didn't say a word more. I ended the call right away, and also added his number to the blacklist. By the time I got home, it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My coat was soaked through, clinging to my body. A dull, constant pain radiated from my lower abdomen. I poured myself a cup of hot water and took the medication prescribed by the doctor to help preserve my pregnancy. Despite the discomfort, I continued to search through my belongings. All of the financial records related to our family over the past 5 years were stored in the safe in my study. I took out a thick stack of folders and began to check all the assets under my name and those of Zhou Yan. As I was organizing the bank statements, the screen of my phone suddenly lit up. Several videos were sent from a number in Western Sichuan. I opened the first video. It was taken at a high-end outdoor goods store. Zhou Yan was kneeling on one knee, holding a pair of women's hiking shoes in his hands. He was patiently tying the laces for Lin Weiwei. His gaze was so gentle that it seemed to draw tears from her eyes. This was a treatment I had never received before. Back then, I had worn out my heels while working with him. He simply handed me a box of band-aids, saying that this was a price one has to pay for success. The second video was a selfie taken for show-off purposes. Lin Weiwei held her hand up towards the camera. On her ring finger was a huge diamond ring. In the background, Zhou Yan said, "When we get back, I'll change the size of your ring." Immediately after that, there was a photo of a shopping receipt, 300,000, a customized Van Cleef & the first design. The transaction was made using my main card's associated subcard. The transaction was made just half an hour before I suspended my card. Then, a text message arrived. "Shen Tang, I'm sorry, but President Zhou really insisted on buying it from me. In fact, you've been occupying Zhou Yan's time for 5 years. But it's not really useful. In his mind, you're just a dishonored old nanny. He just told me that he's going to propose to you as soon as he returns to Beijing." I looked at these messages. I didn't feel any anger at all. It was simply ridiculous. The company was built up by accumulating one order after another. My share of the company's assets is also higher than Zhou Yan's. A man who holds no real responsibilities in the company, and is supported by me, does he deserve to be divorced? I saved all those videos, photos, and chat records. I uploaded them to the cloud for backup. I continued to investigate the account transactions. I didn't know until now that, in just 6 months, Zhou Yan's personal account had made frequent withdrawals. Small amounts like 50 or 100,000 yuan. All the payees were Lin Weiwei. There was even an initial payment for a single apartment located within the 3rd Ring Road. All these amounts together totaled over 2 million yuan. That's what he said, that Lin Weiwei had poor conditions, and he needed some help. I immediately called my private lawyer, with whom I have long-term cooperation. "Lawyer Zhang, please help me draft a divorce agreement. And, I also want to sue Zhou Yan for transferring the marital property." "Yes. Prepare the complaint along with the agreement." After giving instructions to the lawyer, I logged into various bank apps and called the customer service department. I decided to cancel all of Zhou Yan's subsidiary accounts, citing the risk of fraud due to the loss of those cards. At the same time, I asked Law Zhang to submit a property preservation request to the court. I also frozen his personal account used to transfer money to Lin Weiwei. After doing all this, I went to the large closet belonging to Zhou Yan. Inside, there were suits, watches, ties, and even the limited edition sneakers he collected. I found several large plastic bags and stuffed everything into them. Then, I ordered a waste recycling service through the local software company. When the man who collects waste came by, he was reluctant to take these luxury items. "Miss, these clothes are still quite new. It's a shame to sell them as waste," he said. I pointed at the pile of garbage. "Someone has worn these clothes, and they're now considered dirty. 50 yuan. You can take all of it away." Hearing this, the man happily carried the bags downstairs. Looking at the half-empty wardrobe, I felt like the air in the room had become cleaner. After doing all this, I was so exhausted that I just fell asleep in bed. I slept until 10 o'clock at night. Suddenly, there was a loud slamming sound outside the door. Along with it, came Zhou Yan's angry curses. "Shen Tang, open the door for me. You really have gone too far, haven't you?" Because all of my supplementary cards were suspended, my personal account was also frozen urgently. They couldn't even afford to stay in any fancy hotels in Western Sichuan. They had to drive back to Beijing overnight. I went over and opened the door. Zhou Yan's eyes were red, his face covered in wrinkles, and he looked extremely disheveled. When he saw my cold face, his anger surged to its peak. He raised his hand and tried to hit me. "You bitch! Who told you to suspend your cards?" I was prepared for this attack, so I stepped back slightly. His hand missed me by a few inches. Just at that moment, Lin Weiwei, who had been hiding behind, suddenly rushed out. She held a red utility knife in her hand. The blade was pressed against her wrist, and she cried hysterically, "Shen Jia, why do you have to push us to this point? You have cut off my path to survival. You've also stopped Yan's card service. Do you really want to force me to die before you're satisfied? Fine. I'll show you how to die today." She pretended to cut her wrist with the knife. Zhou Yan was so terrified that his face turned pale. "Weiwei, don't do anything stupid," he shouted as he tried to grab the utility knife from Lin Weiwei's hand. As he turned around, in order not to let me touch Lin Weiwei, Zhou Yan pushed me with incredible force. The impact was so strong that I couldn't stay steady and fell backward. My abdomen hit the sharp corner of the solid wood footrest in the entrance area. A sudden, intense pain ripped through my entire body. I gasped in pain, collapsing onto the ground. Some warm liquid flowed out from me. Blood flowed down my legs, dropping onto the light-colored woolen carpet. It was terrifying to see. Zhou Yan grabbed the knife and held Lin Weiwei in his arms. He glanced at the blood on the ground, his face filled with disgust. "Shen Tang, why would you resort to such a despicable trick to try to gain favor? For the sake of winning favor, do you really use such a lowly means strategy? This method doesn't work against me. This is your punishment for being jealous. I already said that I and Weiwei are innocent. Why do you have to eliminate her?" Lin Weiwei leaned weakly against Zhou Yan's arms. Her wrist was cut by the craft knife. "Yan Gu, I'm too dizzy." Zhou Yan couldn't look at me anymore. Without hesitation, I picked up Lin Weiwei up. Without looking back, I rushed towards the elevator. "Weiwei, don't be afraid. I'll take you to the hospital right now." The elevator doors slowly closed. I lay alone on the cold floor, watching the blood spread across the carpet. The pain in my lower abdomen made my vision blur. I gritted my teeth and reached for the phone lying nearby. I called 120. "Hello, how may I help you? I'm on the 20th floor of Unit 1, Building 6 in Mingda Community. I'm 6 weeks pregnant, and I've suffered a severe injury that caused massive bleeding." After hanging up the phone, I lay there in the blood, unable to hold back my tears. "I'm sorry, my child. Mom didn't protect you enough." 3 days later, I dragged myself through the hospital procedures and left. I took a taxi back to this cold, empty house. The blood stains in the entrance had dried and turned black. I took out the divorce agreement that Zhang Lu had given me. At the end, he wrote his name down, along with that painful induction of labor form. It was placed neatly under the glass cup on the living room coffee table. Then, he packed his luggage and left the house without looking back. Zhou Yan stayed with Lin Weiwei in the hospital for 3 whole days. He cared for her wounds, which were merely minor cuts. He even got a special care order, and spent days preparing nourishing soups for her. It wasn't until his clothes became completely stinky that he had to return home. The moment he stepped through the door of his home, Zhou Yan felt like he should be angry, questioning why she hadn't apologized to him during those 3 days. But then, he seemed to remember something, sighed deeply, and spoke in a hoarse voice. "Tang Tang, I admit that I neglected you during these days. I apologize to you, but you shouldn't take your anger out on Weiwei." However, she said she forgave you. "As long as you go and apologize to her, I'll pretend like nothing happened." Seeing no response from me, he irritably tugged at his tie, muttering under his breath. Again, trying to play that game of running away from home, really annoying. He walked away, taking off his suit jacket along the way. He went over to the coffee table to grab a glass of water. His gaze immediately fell on the divorce agreement buried beneath the glass. There was also a surgical form, stamped with the hospital's official seal. Zhou Yan sneered, still trying to use legal tactics against me. He picked up that surgical form, ready to tear it up. But the moment he saw the words written on it, Zhou Yan froze in place. It read clearly, "Patient Shen Tang, 6 weeks pregnant, suffered a miscarriage due to external force." The time was 3 days ago, the night he pushed me down. A wave of panic hit him like a tidal wave. His legs became weak, and his hand holding the slip of paper trembled uncontrollably. "Child, is Vivi pregnant?" He suddenly remembered that night, when I lay bleeding out, without making a sound. He not only failed to help me, but also called my plan a despicable scheme. Zhou Yan, like a madman, pulled his phone out of his pocket and started dialing my number frantically. But all that came from the receiver was a cold, mechanical voice. "Sorry, the number you called is invalid." He immediately opened WeChat and sent a message. "Wife, where are you? Reply me." A red exclamation mark appeared on the screen. I even deleted his WeChat account completely. Zhou Yan gasped heavily, then rushed straight into the wardrobe in the main bedroom. The wardrobe was empty, not even a single strand of my hair remained there. His branded clothes and shoes were also nowhere to be found. The entire house was in an eerie silence. It was as if I never really existed at all. Zhou Yan collapsed onto the woolen carpet, still clutching that abortion confirmation form in his hands. His eyes were bloodshot, and tears streamed uncontrollably from them. He covered his face with both hands, his shoulders shaking violently. He let out a howl that sounded like that of a wild animal. My wife. I was wrong. But in that empty room, no one was there to respond to him anymore. 1 week later, I sat back down in the conference room of the studio. I held the latest project progress report in my hands as I presented it to the team. My body hadn't fully recovered after the induced labor, so I was wrapped in a thick cashmere shawl. Suddenly, the door to the conference room was pushed open violently from the outside. Shentang. Zhou Yan looked disheveled, with dark circles under his eyes and a rough appearance. His clothes were wrinkled, and he seemed to have been drunk when he rushed in. The young girl at the reception desk was almost crying. Sorry, Mr. Shen, I couldn't stop him. I waved my hand, telling the girl to leave first. As soon as Zhou Yan saw me, his eyes turned red. In front of all the employees, he stepped forward and knelt down on one knee with a loud thud. The conference room fell silent. All the employees gasped. Zhou Yan gripped the armrest of my chair, crying bitterly. Wife, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I really didn't know you were pregnant at all. That night was just an accident. I didn't mean to push you. He cried while using his hand to beat his own face. I'm a monster. I don't deserve to be human. Please give me a chance to make it up to you. Okay, let's have another child. I'll listen to you in everything from now on. I swear I'll never touch Lin Weiwei anymore. I've already blocked her. He cried bitterly, trying to take my hand. I watched his disgusting behavior with a cold eye. It felt like 5 years of my youth had been wasted. I didn't try to help him. Instead, I picked up a thick file bag from the table. I untied the rope and threw the pile of photos and bank statements onto Zhou Yan's face. The paper scattered in the air, falling onto the conference room floor. Those large transfer records. Tens of thousands spent on a Van Cleef diamond ring. There were also screenshots of him tying shoelaces for Lin Weiwei in western Sichuan. He was visible under the lighting. I stood up, looking down at him from above. Zhou Yan, you always say that Lin Weiwei has depression. You want to save her. Using my card to buy a diamond ring worth 300,000, is that your saving? Over half a year, you transferred more than 2 million into accounts, buying houses for your mistress. So your saving means using the family wealth to support a mistress. As these words were spoken, the employees in the meeting room immediately started pointing at Zhou Yan. Their disdainful looks pierced him like knives. Damn it, he seemed like a decent person, but it turns out he used his wife's money to support a mistress. Yes, and he even tried to get President Shen to have an abortion. How disgusting. These words clearly reached Zhou Yan's ears. They stripped away his pride, something he had always taken pride in. His face turned blue and white, and he couldn't even stand still. Weiwei, please listen to my explanation. I actually intended to lend this money to her. He stammered, trying to defend himself. I shook off his hand, refusing to be touched at all. Don't touch me. I think you're dirty. I said coldly. Put away those crocodile tears of yours. The court order will be sent to you tomorrow. Get ready to leave this place empty-handed. After saying that, I picked up the internal phone on the table. The security guards rushed in quickly. Zhou Yan was still struggling on the ground, refusing to leave. Shentang, you can't do this to me. I'm half of this company. The two strong security guards dragged Zhou Yan out of the studio like dragging a dead dog. The door was closed with a loud noise. I straightened my skirt and sat back down. I tapped the table towards the employees who were staring in amazement. Okay, the personal matters are settled. Let's continue with the meeting. Let's go through point 3 of the previous plan again. After Zhou Yan was dragged away by the security guards, the scandal quickly spread within the industry. His image as a kind and loving husband was completely destroyed. The company's partners, fearing that the situation could lead to their own problems, convened a board of directors overnight. They unanimously voted to suspend Zhou Yan temporarily and to subject him to an internal investigation. Zhou Yan's salary and dividends were all frozen. Lin Weiwei, seeing that Zhou Yan had lost his source of income, was extremely worried. Her eyes red with anger. She had come here precisely because of Zhou Yan's money. Now that the ATM was broken, she couldn't accept this situation any longer. She found out about my social media account and started posting desperate messages online. Sister Shen, I know you hate me, but you can't give up on Zhou Yan. He really loves you. Those $2 million were invested in me by his own choice. Not only that, she also spent money to hire a large number of trolls to post false information online, trying to discredit me as a woman who uses fake pregnancy to trick people into marriage. A certain woman named Shen, who forced her husband to leave the company by using fake abortions, transferring company assets using such despicable methods. To increase the credibility of their claims, Lin Weiwei even released several fake medical records indicating severe depression. She claimed that I was the one who forced her to do this. She tried to manipulate those uninformed netizens into attacking me relentlessly online. In just a short time, my private messages were filled with overwhelming abuse. That old woman is disgusting. Even pregnancy can be used as a means to commit fraud. I feel sorry for Lin Weiwei. It's really awful to encounter such a person. Several potential partners who were in the process of negotiating also called to politely suggest canceling the project. At that moment, when online backlash was at its peak and Lin Weiwei's fans were in full frenzy, I ordered my assistant to start live streaming across the internet. As soon as the live stream started, tens of thousands of people rushed in, flooding the screen with insults. I ignored the comments. Sitting in front of the camera, I remained calm. Regarding the rumors and misinformation that have spread online over the past few days, I will only respond once. I simply laid 2 marriage certificates on the table. Then, I opened up the payment records from the past 5 years. All the startup funds for this company were provided by me. I and Zhou Yan are legally married couples. By labeling certain people as weak or mentally ill, you're not really a weakling with depression, you're simply a thief who knows how to act like a fool. After that, I asked my assistant to cut off my camera feed. Instead, I played the high-definition surveillance video from that night's entrance. In the video, Lin Weiwei was holding a carving knife without a blade, acting like a fool and provoking others. Zhou Yan, trying to protect her, pushed me down onto a stool. I lay there, bleeding profusely, in pain. Zhou Yan scolded me for using a cruel trick, then picked up Lin Weiwei and left. The surveillance quality was extremely high. Even Zhou Yan's cold and cruel expression was clearly visible. There was no trace of any editing. This 5-minute surveillance video was played out right then. The entire internet was in uproar. Those netizens who were originally criticizing me suddenly switched their focus to this couple. The comments on the page stopped for a few seconds, then began to scroll rapidly. All the anger was directed at this pair of despicable people. This is simply an attempt to commit murder. That artist's knife didn't even produce a blade at all. Is she cutting through empty air? And the man is also blind. Can't he see the large pool of blood on the ground? Pushing her wife into abortion and still cursing her. Is this still human behavior? Public opinion changed completely. In less than half a day, Lin Weiwei's social media account was reported by tens of thousands of angry netizens. Her account was permanently banned by the platform. Her real identity and address were also revealed. She became a person who was despised by everyone, and she didn't even dare to leave her home. My partner immediately called to apologize and promised to invest more money. The surveillance video went viral across the internet, making it onto 3 popular search terms. Zhou Yan's sister, Zhou Lan, saw the news abroad. Furious, she bought a flight ticket and returned immediately. Zhou Lan had a very temperamental personality. She took good care of me back then. She rushed directly to the single apartment that Zhou Yan rented. The moment Zhou Yan opened the door, Zhou Lan slapped him 3 times hard. Zhou Yan bled from the corners of his mouth and fell onto the sofa. Zhou Yan, are you crazy? How much pain has Shintang endured for you? You destroyed the child in her belly just because of that whore. Zhou Yan covered his face, unable to refute any of these accusations. At that moment, the video call came through. On the screen was my mother, lying in the hospital bed. Seeing the footage of my miscarriage, she became so angry that she had a heart attack and was rushed to the emergency room. After a long time, she finally recovered, wearing an oxygen mask. She pointed at Zhou Yan and scolded him. Damn it, our family of Zhou doesn't have you as a member. Zhou Yan cried, wishing to go to the hospital to visit his family. However, several black-clad bodyguards, hired by Zhou Lan, blocked him from entering the hospital room. Zhou Lan threw a statement of breaking relations right in his face. Sign this statement, or I won't want to see you anymore. From today on, don't ever call me your brother anymore. Zhou Yan became completely panicked and knelt down, begging his sister. Zhou Lan ignored him completely and ordered her bodyguards to throw him out of the hospital. At the same time, Due to the extremely negative social impact, the company's stock prices plummeted. The company's board of directors officially issued a dismissal notice against Zhou Yan. They also sued him for damaging the company's reputation and demanded substantial compensation. Court orders were also sent to him. The case involving his claims of property transfer and divorce will be heard immediately. The properties, accounts, and 2 cars owned by Zhou Yan have been seized by the court according to the law. All the money was used to pay for my mental damages, as well as to recover the shared property that he stole from us. Those friends who used to be like brothers now completely ignored him. He was once a promising internet celebrity, but overnight, he became a worthless freelancer with a pile of debts. He no longer had even a place to live. That night, it was raining heavily in Beijing. Zhou Yan was drenched like a dog in the water. He ran to the door of my luxurious apartment complex. Kneeling outside the heavy iron gate, he desperately begged me to see him. From across the distance, I could hear his head hitting the ground as he begged desperately. His face was covered in blood, and he screamed for me to let him see me. Tang Tang. I have nothing left. Please forgive me once. Please. I stood on the 20-story balcony, wearing a silk pajama, with a glass of red wine in my hand. I stared coldly at that tiny black figure below, as if it were an ant. I didn't even have the energy to give him any extra emotions. I only felt that the noise from the rain outside was quite loud. In just a few minutes, the property management of the community complained that his face was covered in blood, which damaged the appearance of the neighborhood. They also claimed that he had scared the residents. As a result, 2 police officers came and forcibly took Zhou Yan away in a police car, claiming that he was causing a disturbance to public order and creating problems by causing trouble for others. Zhou Yan has nothing left at all. The apartment that Lin Weiwei paid for with my money as a down payment was also seized by the court and put up for auction. Both of them have nothing left in their pockets, and they were forced to live outside the 6th Ring Road. They ended up renting a leaky basement. Lin Weiwei, who was used to living in luxury with Zhou Yan, couldn't bear such hardships at all. The room was dark and damp, and mice crawled around every day. Lin Weiwei kept scolding Zhou Yan for being a loser. Behind Zhou Yan's back, she put on a new makeup and changed into a strapless dress. She started wandering around bars in Sanlitun, trying to get back together with some rich kids. Zhou Yan, burdened with tens of thousands in fines, had no choice but to apply for a job as a drink salesperson at that bar. One night, Zhou Yan brought a fruit plate to the bar. As he looked up, he saw Lin Weiwei sitting on the legs of a bald man with a full head of hair. She tenderly fed the fruits into the old man's mouth. Her hands also casually touched his gold watch. Zhou Yan felt a sharp buzzing in his head. His rationality was completely shattered. With red eyes, he picked up the beer bottle on the table and rushed forward to attack the man. Lin Weiwei, do you really have no shame? The old man was startled. 3 bodyguards rushed over immediately. They kicked Zhou Yan away, sending him flying across the floor filled with glass shards. He was then pinned to the ground and brutally beaten by the 3 strong men. The blows were so severe that he spat out blood. Lin Weiwei adjusted her messy dress, watching the scene from a distance. She even spat on Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan, you are now a useless waste. You can't even protect a woman yourself. What kind of man are you? Under the overwhelming anger and humiliation, Zhou Yan had no strength left to fight back. He pushed away the bodyguards and snatched a broken wine bottle. He then pressed the broken bottle against Lin Weiwei's neck. Aren't you suffering from depression? Aren't you saying that you can't go on without me? Are you lying to me? The sharp glass scratched Lin Weiwei's skin. She really lost all her courage. She laughed without any fear. Her laughter pierced through Zhou Yan's ears. Zhou Yan, you're so stupid. That depression diagnosis was fake. I spent 500 yuan to get a fake one online. Only a self-important person like you would believe me. For 5 years, I've been pretending to be sick, just to control you. I deliberately posted those messages on Moments, just to provoke your wife. It was all planned out by me. If it weren't for your money, how could I have ever been interested in a man like you, who's old and useless? The lies were completely shattered, like a heavy hammer that destroyed the last shred of dignity that Zhou Yan still had. His worldview collapsed completely. The bottle of alcohol in his hand slipped to the ground. He suddenly realized that he had killed his own child, just because of that poisonous woman who was like a snake. He had ruined the best wife in the world. Zhou Yan was devastated. He ran out of the bar like a madman, rolling and crawling along the ground. On the streets, he cried and laughed. Sometimes he slapped himself, and sometimes he hugged the utility pole by the roadside, calling out for his wife. The young people passing by took out their phones and captured this madman covered in blood, posting the video on short video platforms. 3 months later, the court finally ruled that our divorce was valid. Zhou Yan was judged to be at fault, and was forced to leave the household without any assets. All the marital joint property had to be repaid by law enforcement. Lin Weiwei also didn't end up well. She was accused of forging medical records and stealing huge amounts of money. After I reported the case to the police, they immediately filed charges against her. When she tried to swindle money from another wealthy person, she was arrested by the police and sent to prison. The amount of money stolen was huge, at least 10 years in prison. As for Zhou Yan, he couldn't bear the continuous blows he received. He was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia in a mental hospital. Due to lack of funds for treatment, he was forced to leave. He wore that dirty, stinky suit all day long, with his hair tangled. He always held a plastic doll in his arms, which he had picked up from the trash cans. He wandered around under the bridge, pointing at the doll and saying, "Look, this is my son. My wife will come back to take us home soon." One deep autumn day, I was passing by that overpass after work. The car was waiting for the traffic light. Zhou Yan suddenly appeared from nowhere. He was dressed in tattered clothes, and his body emitted a foul smell. He immediately recognized my car. He rushed towards my wheels, trying to commit suicide or commit a fraud. "Tang Tang, take me home." The driver was startled and quickly braked the car. I rolled down the window and looked at the man lying outside the car window. My gaze was like looking at a pile of foul-smelling garbage on the roadside. His dry, blackened fingers tried to touch the window of my car. He muttered something incomprehensible. "My wife. I'm sorry. Our child, please forgive me." I didn't even bother to say anything to him. I simply told the bodyguard sitting in the passenger seat to get out of the car. The bodyguard stepped forward and kicked him away without any mercy. I reluctantly rolled up the window of the car and instructed the driver to start the journey. "Drive away." The car disappeared into the distance. In the rearview mirror, I saw Zhou Yan lying on the muddy ground, crying bitterly. I felt like a living dead, completely abandoned by the world. Half a month later, the city experienced its first heavy snowfall since winter began. While sanitation workers were clearing the snow from under the pedestrian bridge, they discovered a frozen man's body. His hands were half mutilated, still holding onto a dirty plastic doll. When the morning news reported about the identification process for this unknown body, I was sitting in my black Bentley. Without even lifting my eyelids, I turned off the car screen. "President Shen, it's time to enter the premises," my assistant reminded me softly. I gathered up the shawl I had draped over my shoulders. I opened the car door, stepped into the room wearing high heels with red patterns, and stepped forward amidst thunderous applause. The magnesium lights flickered wildly around me. Standing in the middle of the hall, surrounded by a group of investors in suits and leather shoes, I raised the wooden hammer in my hand. I struck the bell that signaled the start of the event. Ring, the bell rang out, and golden fireworks flashed across the sky. On the big screen, the stock code of the company I founded soared upwards, glowing brightly. I emerged from the abyss, dusting off the mud and blood from my clothes. Now, I stand at the pinnacle of power and wealth. I hold a glass of champagne, looking towards the dazzling sunlight outside the window. All the past mistakes and failures have been completely buried beneath that stinking bridge. From now on, my remaining life will be filled with bright, golden opportunities.